There's been a ton of Godzilla movies over the last 60 years. Which one is the best? Well, it depends on if you want the best film or the best Godzilla film. Time to take a somewhat controversial stand on the topic. Without a doubt, the original 1954 version is the best film in the series. It's a serious monster movie dealing with the horrors of nuclear war by people who, less than a decade earlier, lived through that very thing. Godzilla is not the joke and kid-friendly superhero that he would later become. He's a destructive force of nature. The entire tone of this movie is dark and depressing, with its gritty black and white cinematography, an unstoppable juggernaut that demolishes everything in its path. For one brief period in Godzilla's 60-year history, he was not the hero that audiences rooted for. He was the villain. There's no denying that the original Godzilla was a horrific allegory for the dangers of a nuclear world. While few would argue that the original is the best film in the series, I don't think it's the best Godzilla movie. Best movie, sure. Best Godzilla movie, maybe not. To me, best Godzilla movie would have to be one that defines everything that the general public thinks of when they think of Godzilla. When people think of a Godzilla flick, they think of guys in giant rubber monster suits fighting each other. They think of aliens. They think of Godzilla being a hero. That's why I gotta give the nod to Godzilla vs. Megalon. Yep, I know what you're thinking. This guy's an idiot. That may be true. But not only does this movie contain all the things that have come to define Godzilla, it does so in a fun way. It includes that pointy-headed robot jet Jaguar and the title villain Megalon. It also contains one of the coolest monsters Godzilla's ever fought, Gigan. For such an awesome monster, he never really got enough love in film. Godzilla vs. Megalon has some kick-ass tag team monster fighting. It's got those cheesy moments, like the tail slide. In America, it had that box art of the monsters on the World Trade Center, despite no part of the movie taking place in New York. Its early 70s excess in all its goofy glory. While it was tough to decide between Godzilla vs. Megalon and Invasion of the Astro Monster, I had to give the nod to Megalon because it's simply a more fun movie. If you're new to Godzilla, I would recommend the first film as a prime example of a fantastic monster movie. I'd then recommend Godzilla vs. Megalon as the epitome of everything that Godzilla had become. It's what made the monster into a pop culture icon that's managed to last over 60 years. Agree with me? Or, far more likely, disagree with me? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinion on what the best Godzilla movie is. And if you feel so inclined, subscribe for more of my rambling thoughts on the King of Monsters.
Godzilla to Jaga, the punch, punch, punch!